patient. You know, don't get out much. Well, the funny thing is the good news is I'm the last act. The bad news is I'll probably get you out here before midnight. Now, as you see, I'm the oldest guy in the class, but I don't feel that old. It's funny, Abe, the trouble is, I know I'm getting a bit older because the older I get, the less forgetful my patients seem. You get it? just checking. So anyways, I don't feel that, but I can tell also that I go to the obituaries every Saturday morning in the Globe and Mail just to make sure I'm not there. And you know the funny is, you ever read these snippets on people's lives? They look like they're friggin' perfect. You know, it goes like, Clarence, I don't know why I'm talking like that. Clarence died at 84. His wife Mildred was by his side. They had 55 years of a blissful marriage. I don't think so. Anyways, what do you do to learn stand-up? You come to this great class, and then I read a book called The Comedy Bible by Judy Carter. And she said, riff on what you know and stay away from hackneyed topics. You ready? Airline, food, traffic, don't go there. But then she said, Viagra, farting, pooping, and peeing. Well, that's what I deal with most days of the week. And my patients, also in myself. Well, what is it about Viagra that's such a big deal, really, when you think about what a wonderful discovery, a boon for mankind, and giving old guys hope. But did you know how they discovered this? It was by fluke. They were studying this medicine for heart disease. I'm not kidding you. It was a double-blind study, not run by blind people. The doctors and the nurses didn't know who was getting what. So you ready for this? These old guys would... I'm just sitting down now. Listen, these old guys, they come in, have their blood pressure down, take a pill, and these old guys would be driving home. They drive home and they run into the house and they go, Thelma, run home! Well, what is it about pooping that's such a big deal? Because we all do it. Right, sir? You don't look like you're full of it. That's a medical opinion. I'll take cash. But, where was I before I was interrupted? We all look at our poop, you know? We all do. And I've had patients come in and say to me, what happens when my poop floats? I go, geez, maybe there's too much air or fat in there. Well, what happens if it sinks? Probably the opposite. And I said, but look, if it jumps out of the toilet bowl, you got to cut back on your fiber or your brain buds. But did you know that in our hospital we have charts that show you the type of poop you have, so the nurses can take it to a patient and point. Type 1, so you know, little rabbit turds, all the way to type 7, which is Niagara Falls. That's not funny if you got it. So are you ready for this? Where you want to be, just in case you're working on this, is you want to be at type 4. That's what we call the Lincoln Log. Or the Cadillac of rectal expulsion. You know what that means, Lum? Got it. So anyways, finally, just so you know, I'm a student of the fart, or the flatulence. I can't believe how we've developed as a species, so you can tell when a fart sits down on your anal verge or your pectinate line, you know it's going to make a noise or not. And if you're pretty good, you can control it. The problem is that that's where evolution stopped. Because you can't tell if it's going to smell. Farts are made up of 5 or 6 gases: carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, and the stinkers, sulfur and methane. So I teach medical students and residents, and I say, look at guys, always tell the truth, no matter what happens. It's a true story. Years ago, I was working in a little fishing village. First Nations are about 400 miles north of Vancouver, a place called Bellacoola. I was on call, and Sunday morning, the kitchen girl accidentally cut her thumb with a knife. So I had to go over Sunday morning. The nurses had everything done. This young kid's lying with her arm out like this. I put on the gloves, drew up the freezing, but I had to fart. And I had had beans, beer, and chili the night before for dinner. But as I could tell sitting there on my pectinate line that I wasn't going to make a noise. So I said to this kid, okay, here comes the freezing. Shot in the freezing, and man, I farted, and it was a sod bog from hell. You know the ones so malodorous you can't believe you produced it yourself. But then you feel pretty good about yourself. So I said to this young kid, okay, here comes the freezing fart. Terrible. She turns, she goes, geez, man, does that stuff ever stink? And I said, well, maybe it was a bad batch from down the coast. Anyways, I went and told her afterwards what had happened, and she thanked me. I didn't want her to have an epidural or freezing again in her life. She'd say, I'd rather have the pain, none of that stinky stuff. So I'm just going to wrap this up. This is a true story. 35 years later, my daughter and I went to Bellacoola, and on the way home, we stopped at a place called 108 Mile House, which is about 1,000 miles from Bellacoola. I'm not kidding you. Go into this place, and this lady is waving at me. And I go, she goes, hi, Dr. Fallis. How? I didn't know who she was. And then she went, I'm not kidding. She goes, I'm Teresa W. You sewed my thumb up 35 years ago, and the only thing I remember about the whole thing is you farted. So you know what she said to me? I knew you were coming in, so I've been swallowing air all afternoon, hoping to sign the guest book. I might fart to really throw you off. So thanks a lot. If you see me outside after the show, please don't pull my finger.